Recording. Hello. Welcome to our book class. Today we are starting with the same book, Honor Wars on Basilisk Station, Chapter 2. So, what I don't think we should go with the synopsis. It's pretty long this time, but I think we can make like a short summary for chapter, I guess. Do we have a volunteer for this? Just circumstance. What is happening, where it's happening, just a few words. If you have a volunteer, please raise your hand. Gerard, please.
So in this chapter, Honor is in her cabin thinking about the political situation that led her to have this ship with so strange weapons. These weapons are not very good in normal situation, but it looks like there was an admiral. I think the one is called Horrible Hemphill.
Yep.
That wants to prove that weapons can, thanks to the weapons determine the tactic. Instead, the usual that it's the opposite, and that's Honor's opinion.
Yeah.
That you have to use tactics and then you take advantage of your weapons, but the most important thing are the tactics. But these other new Jenna call, want to prove that, and Honor is the guinea pig. Has these lands and these torpedoes, so he needs to go very close to the ship to destroy it, first with the lands, grave lands, and then with missiles or torpedoes destroy the ship. But that wouldn't work only once if she takes the ship by surprise, but it would be useless the second time.
Okay, we will go to this. So most of the time, so the whole chapter is happening in one room, right? It's just a cabinet, or how it's called, quarter or cabin. Yeah, of captain, right, of Honor, and she is just pondering and just describing the situation about tactics and
politics.
Her thoughts about this, right? And we are also getting some background about Royal Manticorian Navy, right? How it's how to say, what kind of admiral signs that, what kind of thoughts are about the tactic and all this thing. Okay, let's start with this new characters. Do we have a volunteer? So if you can, please use this Zoom feature, with raising hand or something, because I don't see all the pictures at the same time, only a few. So Admiral Hamish Alexander and Admiral of the Red, two characters. Who can describe them? Do you want? Well. Please.
Admiral Hamish Alexander was, I think, officer.
Admiral?
Admiral.
Do you understand what is Admiral?
Very high rank.
High ranked officer, yeah, very important one, right? Do you remember we had a teacher Lee provided a material with officer ranks, and Admiral was on the top, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They're like generals in the army.
So he's an officer, right? What else about him?
He's, I think he's.
It was a word traditionalist, right?
Yes, he was traditionalist.
Okay, traditionalist. What does it mean, traditionalist?
School that teach that you must shoot.
You use the same tactics, right? More or less the same.
Yes.
And you have weapons for all those ranges: long, short, middle, and this is called traditional school in Manticorian Navy, right? Okay. Second one, Admiral of the Red. Let's start with this. What does mean Admiral of the Red?
Junior.
There are two colors, right?
Yes, red and green.
Okay. Who is higher? who is senior?
Green.
Green. Okay. Which is kind of counterintuitive, right? Because I think green is not ready yet. You know, like an apple. You know, when it's green, it's not ready. When it's red, okay, eat it.
Or maybe red is stop and green is go.
Okay.
I don't know why they chose those colors.
Okay, so green is more senior, right? Red is junior. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And red and Sonia Hemphill
Hemphill.
was in the June Nicole.
Yeah, French word, right? You, John, Gecole, something like this. Teacher, can you help us with this French word?
June.
June.
June École.
June École. Okay. So Sonia is from June École. What does it mean?
Opposite to
Yeah.
traditionalist.
So weapon define your tactic, right? Okay. Anything else? Let's ask someone else. What were missed about these characters? Something important? Nope. Jihan, please.
No.
I don't know. Wait, Sir Edward, Jan. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He was her cousin, Janishik, I think.
Yep. So he was her cousin, and why it's important?
Because Honor thought that he's the one who helped her to change the weapons and the refit, so she could benefit and get promoted.
Okay, Jihan, I have two questions for you. First one, what is Aka?
AKA, also known as.
Okay, good one. Okay, another question. How we call this, idea when someone helps his relatives in a, government or army serving? Do you know this name?
It has two words, maybe nepotism or cronyism.
Yeah.
One for friends and the others for family.
Yeah, very good, very good.
Excellent. Woo! Excellent.
Yeah. So Janashek, yeah, probably he's like kind of helping Sonia with her career because they are relatives, right? So I smell I smell some nepotism here. Am I right?
Yep.
Okay, and the last one, Chromatri or Duke Allen. Do we have a volunteer for this character? Someone. Jihan, Fatima, please.
Okay, so Cromarty and Duke Ellen, they're both high-ranked officials.
Probably admiral, right? What is Duke?
Government.
What is Duke?
Government.
Fatima, what does mean Duke?
I don't know. What does it mean?
It's kind of a title, right?
Aristocracy.
Written?
It's a nobility. It's a rank of nobility.
It means that you're not just a guy from a street, you are from family who has some, can we call this a blue blood or something, teacher?
Yeah.
I think Duke is under Queen or King. He's the next level,
Yeah, we will learn some royal titles in this series because the Queen governs a monarchy, and she's going to be granting favors to people that do good by making them counts or dukes or barons. If you've heard the term baron, count, duke, duchess,
Marquis?
baroness. You've heard baroness before.
Yes.
The Sound of Music, right?
Yes.
Those are all titles of nobility.
Yeah.
You're civilian, but you're important, you're influential, you own a lot of land, you're wealthy. Yeah. Okay.
The
Usually, as far
highest
as
rank is a duke. The highest rank of them.
after the king, before the king.
I'm not sure, to tell you the truth.
Yes.
You may
Yeah, yeah.
know Count Dracula. Dracula was a count. Count to Dracula. Yeah. So he was a noble.
Okay, as far as I understand, some of these titles can be, given you just because, you made something good for the royal family. But some of them cannot. So you have to be born in a family to be a duke. Gerard, what do you think? Am I right?
Yeah, usually it's hereditary, but also some rulers can give titles.
So
the
for
queen
instance,
or the yes.
yeah. So for instance, let's say Queen of England or something, they can give you a title of baron or something. But
Or knight,
nobody,
usually a knighthood.
yeah.
Ah,
But
like a knight. Yeah, that's another. Yeah. British use the knights also. Yep.
But nobody can give you a title of duke. So you have to be, a brother of a king or something like this. So it's impossible
I don't know. I don't
to
know.
get it.
Yeah.
Okay, just to understand that this Duke Island, he is, someone unique, let's say, in a society that have a monarchy. That's all. Okay, anything about them that we forgot, Teacher Lee, about these characters? Something important?
No, those are the main things. Cromarty and Duke Allen are high-ranking political figures in the government. We don't know what their positions are yet. And they are the ones that gave Janacek his high-ranking position out of a political compromise. They needed the support of a political party. So that party wanted Janacek to have a high position. So Janacek, Cromarty, and Duke Allen are politicians. They're civilians that, all they care about power and influence and control,
Teacher Lee, do we have some special, terms about some groups inside the government that they are fighting each other or something?
No, just usually it's political parties. We just call it, we have a term called infighting. Infighting means you're fighting with yourself inside your organization. So usually we say political infighting. Two parties are trying to hurt each other. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to so we covered the character part, so I think that with new chapters of the book, we will have less and less new characters. So it must be, right? Because we learn more and more of them. So let's go to the questions. So do we have a volunteer for first one? Describe owner's cabin or captain's quarters. Who would like to? Rehab, please. Yes, Rehab, please.
Unmute.
Yeah, you have to unmute to talk. Something's going wrong. Do we have another volunteer?
Okay,
Oh.
she unmuted, I think. He
Please?
unmuted.
Rehab, now you are muted, but we don't hear you. Okay, let's ask someone else. Sally, what about you? Would you please describe this cabin or quarters?
Sure. It was spacious when she compared with her Hawkwing cabin, right?
Yeah. Yes.
That's actually all what I know about it. I'm not sure.
But you're right. You're right. It's spacious, right? And it has a few rooms, I guess, right?
It has a separate dining room.
Dining room. Yeah. Why Captain has a special dining room, Sally? To invite who?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, perhaps
he don't want to because he is busy eating. Need to eat while he's working or something.
I guess, it's to make some team building, to invite your officers, to have a dinner with them, to share some, I don't know, thoughts, ideas. It's how it looks to me, but because I know I never was in some canteen with the captain. Tishley, what do you think? Why she needs a special room for officers?
I'm not sure. Normally, on my ship, the meal room is a separate room, not inside the captain's quarters. I'm not sure why. It may be that someone figured that they might want to have like a working dinner or a working lunch where you eat and you discuss business at the same time. Or they might have looked at, or maybe they knew that she liked to have dinner with her officers sometimes for team building. So maybe someone added that as a token to her mode of operating, her modus operandi. I don't know.
What I thinking about, in IT companies now, companies often offer you something like free pizza or something at the evening. So many people stay to have this free pizza or something, and it's a very cheap way, to have a few more working hours for engineers. They are staying here, they are describing something, they are exchanging ideas, and all it's cost only free pizza for a company. Nice idea, to to keep people on the work.
At one time,
yeah,
I just mentioned here. One time, Westinghouse wanted me to teach something to everyone in Westinghouse, but they didn't have any money, no budget to pay me for it. So what they did, I would teach employees during lunch.
Yeah, the same idea.
And they could provide free pizza for the lunches. So I actually taught a class during lunchtime with free pizza for everyone in Westinghouse in different lunch sessions.
Same idea.
But were you eating while doing the class?
Well, I wasn't, but they were.
Okay.
And it turns out there was a group in Westinghouse, talk about infighting. There was a group in Westinghouse whose job it was to teach what I was teaching. And they called me and said, "What the hell are you doing?" And I said, "I'm teaching this for free. Can you do that?" "Oh, no, we charge money." "Well, I'm sorry."
Same idea. Another idea can be, that some conversations with captains, they can be, very private, say, very secret, right? Something like this. So maybe that's why they need to be separated room. Okay, let's go further. So question B, describe what the terms Admiral of the Red. Yeah, Rihab, please. Can you?
Yes.
We can hear you now.
Admiralty of the RMN are divided into groups based on seniority. The junior have called the Admiral of Red, and the senior half are called Admiral of Green.
Yeah, what is the procedure? How to cross the border between green and red? What have you do?
According of their age, they divide the admiral, junior and senior. That you mean?
Yeah. So I mean it's a procedure. So one is just age, so the time of serving, right? You're serving more. Eventually, you will be admiral of the green, right? What is another way?
Right.
Well, I guess you get promoted if you did something, special. I guess something for your serving.
Yeah. Cronyism.
Cronyism, nepotism. Yeah, also works.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Describes the 6 political parties in general terms. So I can help. I can write some parties there. So let me see. Progressive, right? Liberals, our favorite. Liberals. Progressive, the same word, I guess.
Newman.
With traditionalists. How we call them? Conservative, right?
Conservatives, yep.
Association.
Conservatives. Then monarchy, right? How we call them? Crown.
Crown loyalists.
Crown royalists, or was it loyalists or royalists? Loyalists.
Loyalists.
Okay.
Loyalists.
Yeah, I wrote it incorrectly somehow. Sergey, can you please describe the difference?
Centrist.
Centrist, right? Centrists. So tell us a few words about.
After YA.
Okay, loyalists. Okay.
The new men is another group.
New men. I wrote with a dash here, but I'm not sure.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay, Sergey, can you please describe in few words? What is the definition of everyone, of every group?
I don't know who is liberals yet. Conservative are traditionalists. Crown loyalist, it's a party of queens or king. Centrist, maybe this is party are as conservative. New Man is opposition party for Crown loyalists and conservatives.
So how do we define liberals? Do we have a volunteer to explain us what are liberals? Gerard?
Liberals are equivalent to our leftists, like socialists or communists. So here, and in this world is the same, right party, center party, and left party. And we can see it also the same. The parties on the left are always scared to have a war, even when it's necessary to, and the right are more willing to go to war if it's necessary. But that doesn't mean always it's necessary or it's not necessary. Depends on the circumstances.
So let me ask Sergey again. Sergey, what is how we pronounce it? Usually help me. Isolationists.
Isolation.
What word? Isolation?
Yeah, how we call people who are for isolation, so we should stay in our star system.
We call them isolationists.
Isolationists. And it's
in my opinion, isolations looks like North Korea people who make a border around his country, and they like a strauss put the hand on the center.
Ostrich. Yeah.
The ostrich of the world. Yeah, North Korea.
I'm at home. We told in my childhood.
Yeah, good example.
Okay. So what is the opposite of I cannot pronounce it. Isolationists. Who's the opposite, like spectre? Probably progressives, right? Liberals.
We call the opposite of that word is expansionist.
Expansionist.
A little bit like imperialist. They want to grow bigger and bigger.
Okay. So eventually they are going to invade Ukraine or something, right?
Nazis or Japanese.
So the main thing about these political parties I want you to recognize here is which ones are for a large navy and which ones are against a large navy. The issue here is military spending. Some of these people want a strong military, and some of these parties want a weak military. They don't want to spend money on the military. So that's the main thing I want you to understand here. Which ones are pro-military, which ones are anti-military.
Literally, if I understand correctly, it's a hawks and pigeons.
Hawks and pigeons, right?
Yeah, hawks and doves. We say doves.
Doves. Okay, doves.
Doves.
Doves. Okay, who are who? Who is who? Who is hawks in this? But how to divide? Yeah, let's say who is pro-military, right? Who is willing to spend more money for military? Sergey, do you know?
Hawks like a lot of money for military, and they promotion idea about expansion. And inside the country, they told about that we have to go outside. Pigeons told, or doves told, guys, we have a lot of problem inside our country. Please, let's go. Let's think about inside
Yeah, internal problems. Okay.
internal
But
problems.
yeah, speaking about these parties, parties like liberals, conservatives, crowns, centrists, who are pro-military from them. Which one? I guess conservatives, right? So conservatives, they are pro-isolation, and they need the military to to protect them.
From
right?
the text, I understand. If I understand correctly, new man, it's a big ticket military budgets.
I actually don't remember who are new men for their for.
It didn't say who they are exactly. They're apparently a kind of a new political party, and they're on the same side as the liberals and the progressives. So the liberals, progressives, and new men have similar military beliefs.
And they are against military spending, right?
Correct.
Okay, so let's write this way. So we have liberals, progressive, and human on one side, like against military, right? Military budget.
Correct.
And the opposite is like the conservative, crown, and centrist. They are pro-military.
Correct. Now, so what happened in this chapter, what she told us was that the conservatives were on the side of the liberals and progressives, but well, to get their support, Cromartie and Duke Allen had to let to make the conservatives happy and gain their support, they had to put Janacek in a high position. So once they put Janacek in a high position, the Conservative Party moved over to support the Crown loyalists and the centrists. So you have it, it's like this is what politics is. You do favors for parties and they support you in certain areas.
Do we call this lobbyism or something? Lobbyism?
It's kind of like lobbying, but a little different. It's just political favors. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. We'll put Janacek in a high position if you vote for our military spending. Quid pro quo, right?
Like it was in a musical Chicago, right? Scratch my take a favor for mama will take it for you.
Exactly.
Okay, let's go on. Do we have a volunteer for the next one? Explain the difference between two schools. Rihab, please.
Yes, the two schools. The first one is traditionalist, and second one is the June equal. The first one believes that basic tactics are independent on the weapon systems. Means that the weapon ranks might change over time, but the basic tactics don't. The second one, the June Cole, believes that the weapon system determines the tactics to be used. If in the war use the short-range weapons, so it is necessary to close the enemy and fight at close range.
Well, I think it's a good explanation, right?
Yep. Very good.
Okay, let's go forward. We will return back to the tactics a little bit better, I guess, later. Okay, so the next one. Explain why Admiral Hemphill had refitted Honor's HMS Fearless with energy torpedoes and a graph lanes. Anyone? Do we have a volunteer? Okay, Jihan, please.
Okay. Her name is Hempel. She wanted to use this approach in Fearless, so she could gain glory when everything works fine. So she could then promote it. I think she's red, and the red she wanted to be in the green.
Do you remember this? It was in the text. Guinea pig.
Yes.
What does it mean? Guinea pig. To be a guinea pig.
I don't know how to explain it, but like you make your enemy focus on this strip, maybe
Not
while the others.
No, not exactly.
No, that's different.
To be a test. To be a test.
Oh, yeah.
A
That's
guinea
not-
pig is a test animal.
Like experimental rats.
Yes, like mice. I think guinea pigs might have been the first test animals. And
Yep.
then we went to white mice. Yeah.
Yeah, let's say I invented something new, you know, some medical treatment, or I don't know, something from cosmetics, and I want to check that it's not dangerous. So I wouldn't check on my son, right, or on my wife. I will check on someone else. So someone else is a guinea pig. So this HMS Fearless, it's a guinea pig for Admiral Hemphill, right? And she just is going to check her idea, I guess, to prove that this idea is working, something like this. Vasant, you are awfully quiet. I'm worried. Yeah, I'm here. So just in case, if you cannot raise your hand or something, just write in the chat. I can read chat as well.
Okay.
Okay, so we have the last question, I guess. Explain the only way why the Fearless could hope to kill a more powerful ship, such as Super Dreadnought. Somewhere we have a picture of these ships, and Super Dreadnought is the biggest one, right? Yeah, there is the picture. So we can light cruiser, HMS Fearless, and we
Mosquito.
have Mosquito, yeah. Super Dreadnought. So how light cruiser can kill a Super Dreadnought? That's the question, right?
So if you can do that, it's like, wow, you know. So it's impressive if you can do it.
So we can spend less. Obviously, the small ship, it has a less cost, right? So we can spend $1 and kill $1 million cost ship from our enemy. Looks good.
On paper, we say on paper, it looks good.
But not for the people that will die.
Yeah.
Okay, Gerard, what is this only way?
Yes, I told you before, actually. I did some spoiler. So the Fearless is equipped with grave lance and torpedoes.
Mm-hmm.
So the enemy wouldn't think that he would do this sort of attack. So if the Fearless approaches the Super Dreadnought with the grave lance, can break its defenses and then shoot the torpedoes and destroy the Dreadnought. But only if they don't know that they can do that, because usually cruisers don't have this ability.
Mm-hmm.
So if they know, if for instance they have intelligence and they know that the Fearless would be destroyed easily.
Yeah. So after the first attack, after the first successful attack, right? So light cruisers will be a goal number one. I say a target number one, right? For the probably. So I don't know. Well, yes, I think it's so. So we covered the questions that we had for this chapter, and we have some time to discuss, the difference between the two schools of battle tactics. So there are a few questions we can raise. So for instance, Vova just asked me why traditionalists are wrong or could be wrong because to having more weapons, it's just better than to have one type of it. So let me ask this question for you. So why we don't have all these weapons for all these cases, just in case? So why? What's the reason?
Maybe
I'm sorry. I wanted to ask Vasans, he's so quiet. Vasans, so what's the reason? Why don't we have all the types of weapons on our ship? Yes.
In real life or
Yeah, so we have a ship, right? So let's say light cruiser or something. So we can put all the types, the grazers, torpedoes, energy torpedoes. Why we don't do this? Why we choose only few types of weapons?
maybe to reduce the weight or too much confusion? Yeah, I think so. You cannot handle all the weapons in a single ship. It could be I'll say that it's like a monarchy, all power into a single hand, so they can do any bad move. They can eject all the weapons. So maybe to reduce, or how to say that, to separate the power to all the.
Well, I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, the good word for describing this is a trade-off, right? If you have everything, you have, it's a very small amount, right? If you have one type of weapons, you can focus on it, you can build your tactics based on this weapon, you can have a lot of cargo, how we call this, bullets, ammunitions, right? Ammunition is the word for this. So you have a lot of them. So I guess that's the difference between having different types and one type. Usually, do you agree with our explanation?
Yeah, that's basically it. The grav lance is a large weapon and takes a lot of space. And if you put a grav lance on the ship, now you need energy torpedoes because it's a short range weapon. So if you put all that on a ship, there's no room for medium range and long range weapons. There's no room. So you've essentially made a short range weapon only. It's like a mosquito. It's got a little stinger, but to use the stinger, you've got to get right next to the bad guy and sting him. Well, then he's going to see you and he's going to, or someone else is going to see you and you're going to be destroyed because you have no defense. You're a little tiny thing and any weapon can destroy you easily. So once people know you're there, you're like an egg in a stomping contest, somebody steps on you and you're gone.
Another thing that came in my mind about this. So if you start to put weapons on your light cruiser eventually, and if you want to more types of it, you will finish with a super dreadnought, right? Because you need more space for ammunition. You need another crew, another officer who is trained for this weapon. And in a few iterations, you have a dreadnought, right?
Yeah, the beauty of a super dreadnought is you have a lot of room. You can put all kinds of weapons on there. Yeah. But in that case, you don't need to get close because you've got lots and lots of missiles and medium range weapons. And another difference is a small ship is kind of fast. It can change directions and, zzz, but a big dreadnought's like a big elephant. It can't move very quickly. So dreadnoughts can't maneuver quickly, so they need armor. Bam, bam, bam. But a light ship needs to be light so it can move quickly. So it has no armor. So its walls are what she called an eggshell.
Yeah. Another thing, the size, size kind of helps you to be more safe, right? If you are small, it's harder to attack you.
Yeah.
Hit you, right? Yeah, good. So the smaller you are, the better it's for you, in terms of safeness, I guess. Okay, so we covered all the questions, I guess. So it's and we still have time. So it's a time if you have something to share, if you have a question to ask, it's it's a good opportunity to do this now. Gerard?
So, what ships are usually equipped with a grab lens, like Dreadnought or Super Dreadnoughts, the biggest one?
None.
None? None. Okay, it's only in this case. Just
It's kind of a new weapon. Well, it's a weapon that has no use because it's so short range that none of the ships really need it or have it. So Hemphill has this idea that, if we put a grav lance on a little ship, no one will expect that. And we can surprise the enemy and kill a big ship with a little ship. Well, you can do that one time. Once you do it one time, the enemy's going to know, wow, that tiny ship had a grav lance. Kill all the tiny ships first,
But I bet that very soon we will see this usage in the book. So I have not read it, but I guess it will happen.
It's a key. This design of her ship is a key point in this book.
Okay. A little bit of spoilers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
And I read. I started to read the second book. I'm almost finished it. And there is another thing about these ships. They have also sails, like they are called Warshawski sails.
Warshawski.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they are used to travel long distances. Have we talked about that?
And hyperspace. We haven't talked about that yet. We've mentioned hyperspace. And because we've mentioned hyperspace, I added a few notes to explain kind of what it is. It's how they go faster than light. And the propulsion method for traveling faster than light is you have to enter hyperspace and use these Warshawski sails to sail the gravity waves. Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. And we have this material provided by Teacher Lee on our classroom. So you can see about Warshawski sails and some few more slides. So what do you think about our pace? Is a chapter a week still comfortable? I guess so, because we spent almost all our time about one chapter. So I guess let's follow this way, right? Let's follow another chapter for the next week. Do you agree?
Yeah. So Ivan, let me just mention the reason what this series is a science fiction series. So this is different. This is unfamiliar probably to many of the students here. It's not Harry Potter. It's not, just real world. Now we're getting into the military. We're getting into politics. We're getting into strategy and fighting battles. We're going to have some advanced technology, hyperspace, missiles, energy torpedoes. So we want to go slow. And I'm trying to explain these things in simple terms so you can kind of understand them. And what this series will do for you, if you can stay with us, is it will give you an understanding and an appreciation of a broader range of knowledge for you.
Yep. I agree. There is no rush. There is no rush at all. So it's slow and solid is better than fast and learn nothing. So I totally agree.
Yep.
And also I wanted to mention that we have a Quizlet, right? And sometimes it's useful to see this Quizlet before you read, if it's already prepared, because you can learn all the idioms beforehand. So if you can, please use this.
And another important thing about these books were written in the 90s. The golden decade was the 60s with Isaac Asimov, Philip K. Dick, Dune, Frank Herbert, all these books. At this time, sci-fi writers thought that in 50 years we could travel to other solar systems. You know, do you remember in Blade Runner 2019? So in 2019 would it be Orion? You know, other stars.
Yeah, flying cars. Yeah.
Because at this time you were about to go to the moon. You know, and they were very optimistic.
Vova, would you like to add something?
Yes, and I think Honor was for me very
Similar
similar to Dune.
to Dune. Yeah, we just read Dune. Yeah, it's the same idea, right? Space, ships, but we will learn the story is different, I guess, but the same like circumstances or how we call it, set. I don't know.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you've seen the movie Dune, Dune is similar. You've got different planets. They call them houses. You've got the House of Atreides and the House of Harkonnen, and you've got the Emperor. So you've got all these political and military conflicts. So this is the same idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I like politics described in Dune. It always was, how they say, twist in the twist in the twist. So
Yeah. Plots within plots. Yeah.
okay. So Sergey, how are you? Are you comfortable about this book? Is it not too challenging or too challenging?
The first part, the first chapter and prologue were okay, but the first chapter was difficult because I met a lot of unique words about weapons, about technology, about something. But
Yeah.
I think that the next will be simpler because I have new a lot of words.
Yeah, the more we go, the easier it should be, I think, because we know more and more about concepts, about words, vocabulary, and so on. Well, I'm ready to call this a day. Tishani, what do you think?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good discussion. Good attendance. Thank you, everyone, for attending.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
See
you,
on the
everybody.
next-
Bye.
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 Bye bye.